Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for joining me on this merry Wednesday. I told you in my Is Monster Hunter World Worth It in 2021 video that I wanted to do a proper, more thorough review, so this is it. So thank you very much for joining me, and let's get a rock in. Now, Monster Hunter World is the best entry in the series for anybody new to the franchise, as it brings with it a host of quality of life improvements, beautiful graphics, and some amazing environments to hunt and fight the colossal beasties. After you create your own Monster Hunter and Palico, the Palico is your very own ass-kicking feline friend, you set out to the new world and quickly find yourself caught up in the chaos of Zora Magdaros, a big-ass magma-armoured Elder Dragon that's causing other monsters to just go haywire. But he's not the only Elder Dragon causing the chaos. The story is pretty lengthy and it is there. However, I don't really know many Monster Hunter fans that play these games for the story. It's more something you kind of just get through to learn about the game, unlock things, and then get to that sweet, sweet endgame. Some of the characters, however, in Monster Hunter World are pretty cool, and the best one by far is the Handler. She'll be the character interacting with you the most, and the voice acting, where there is voice acting, is pretty solid. And yeah, just overall, there's some cool character designs and everything else, but just don't go into it expecting a major JRPG style Final Fantasy-esque story. Monster Hunter World is, as you've probably already guessed, a monster hunting game. You will continuously hunt, kill, and carve up monsters for their materials that you'll be using to craft many weapons and armor sets for you and your Palico. There's a weapon for every playstyle, like the longsword, which is my personal favourite, the insect glaive, which is like a spear that you can use to launch yourself into the air, spin in the air, pull off a lot of really fun kick-ass moves, all the while launching your big-ass insect at the monster's face to give it all kinds of different grief. There's the dual blades for fast attacks, the lance for defensive and counter styles, the hammer for big-ass blunt damage, the horn for buffs for yourself and fellow hunters and debuffs for the monsters, the bow and the bowgun for long-range attacking, and so on and so on. Each weapon and also armor has their own strengths and weaknesses and are all uniquely great to use against all different types of monsters. The monsters themselves are all really well realized and animated and are lethal on the higher ranked missions. There will also be times where they will battle other monsters that they come up against, causing massive damage to each other and also at times breaking bits off. You can also use the environment against them by trapping them in vines, causing rocks to fall on them, mounting them and forcing them against stone pillars and walls, and just you can at one point destroy a wall and just kind of let a little tsunami of water take them out. It's pretty cool. Now, before hunting, it's always wise to have your character eat a meal. There are plenty to choose from, and each meal will grant increases in health and stamina as well as other boosted effects. Monsters can also be captured instead of slain using shock or pitfall traps to catch them, and then using tranquilizer smoke to put them to sleep. Of course, the monster needs to be weak for this to work, or otherwise they'll just get out and smack you 6 ways from Sunday. Different parts of the monsters, like I mentioned just a second ago, can be broken to prevent it from using certain attacks, and also making it possible to get some specific loot from it. Now, all the materials gained from monsters are just randomized, so sometimes you can spend a good while praying to that RNG god and knocking the schnitzel out of the same monster to get that one item. Now, materials can also be gained by a lot of other means, like the indigenous animals that just roam around and just munch about minding their own business that you can kill and carve up. There's also foraging, mining, fishing, and collecting data on things like birds and ants, which can be caught via your wrist net. Whilst hunting the monsters, you'll be collecting data on them as well, constantly, from their footprints, saliva marks, scratch marks, leftover food, and so on. You can craft various items from potions, antidotes for attack and defense buffs, and you can keep crafting the traps once you've run out, and you can just use the plants and materials found from with each open world map to just just keep up your supplies. So if you run out of potions, just find yourself some herbs and then just blend them together, and bosh, you've got yourself some potion. Mix the potion then with some honey, and obviously honey you can find in the bees' nests that hang about, and then boom, you've got yourself some mega potion. So there's just so much to do here, and I mean, what better than just to look around each individual area, which just looks really, really great. From the ancient forest to the Wildspire Waste, the Rotten Vale, the Outer Recess, the Coral Highlands, the new Hoarfrost region and Guiding Lands introduced in the Iceborne expansion, which offer, well, the Iceborne expansion offers nearly as much content as the base game, so that's well worth getting. There's plenty of side quests to complete, ranging an objective and a few awesome crossover events, like being able to play as Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. Now, of course, you can play pretty much nearly all of this cooperatively. Of course, during some main character, like main story missions, you will have to do that alone, but in most cases, once you've seen the monster that you're supposed to be fighting during that main story quest, you can then fire an SOS flare into the air, and other players from around the world can then just hop in and give you a hand. And likewise, you just go to the board, look up who's fired up SOS flares, and just join anybody to hunt the monster that you're hunting. Or if you just feel like hunting anything, you can just go right ahead. Now, I could go on and on, as there's still plenty more to talk about the Monster Hunter franchise and Monster Hunter World, but I've already made a video discussing whether the game's worth it now in 2021, as well as whether the Iceborne expansion is worth it. Of course, they both totally are. They are great games, and you know, you get the picture. Monster Hunter World is just one brilliant game that I find virtually no flaws in personally. The gameplay's great, it looks great, and I've encountered no bugs, glitches or crashes in the over 150 hours I've put into the game, and there's potentially thousands of hours. Never-ending hours to have here in Monster Hunter World for you if you want to craft every single armor set, get every single weapon, upgrade them all, upgrade your armor, do all the missions. There's just so much to do, and again, it's still so much I haven't talked about. And Monster Hunter World from me gets a solid 10 out of 10. But please bear in mind that I have been into the franchise since the PSP and PS2 days, so there's obviously bias there, and it may not be a 10 out of 10 game to you or other people, but to me personally, it is an amazing game and well worth your time if you have not picked it up. But anyway, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on against Monster Hunter World again. Please comment down below if you play the game, love the game, hate the game, whatever. I'd love to talk to you guys, and please smash that like button as it helps out a lot, and consider subscribing. As soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a Nintendo Switch Lite, and I will be going forward then doing loads of giveaways for games and all sorts of other goodies. So thank you very much, and until next time.